Oh yeah, the runway is empty and we are clear for takeoff. Welcome to that Good Experience podcast, a show where related minds talk about related interests in music, culture, and more. Join me, Marcus, along with Kimmy and Byron as we take you on a ride. You may want to buckle up, there's some turbulence ahead. And we've landed safely, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are, September 11th, 2021. Welcome to that We Got That Good Experience podcast. I'm Marcus Moses, along with my cousin co-host, Kimberly.
Marcus. I am so excited. Welcome to the Good, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Special episode.
Absolutely special episode indeed. We'll tell you why in just a second. Byron Bino Brown, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, fam? Welcome, everyone. A very special day. Happy to be here.
And we've all said that it is a very special day. It is a very special day indeed. We have a very special guest, ladies and gentlemen, along on our podcast. None other than the man himself. Mr. Lenny WIlliams is in the building, and we're going to chop it up with him. He's got his playlist on our very special theme episode entitled Our Favorite Love Songs, not entitled 'Cause I Love You by Lenny WIlliams. And we're going to kick it with him in just a minute. But before we get started, we've got a new segment that we want to introduce on our podcast this week, and it's called What's Good? And on this segment, we're going to highlight what's good in the world of music, movies, and more. So, Byron, check it out, man. What's good?
Well, Marcus, what's good is Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. They are what's good. They finally released their debut album, Volume 1. It has already kicked out 3 solid singles featuring Sounds of Blackness, Babyface, and a current release, Somewhat Loved. There You Go, Breaking My Heart, featuring Mariah Carey. This is a solid album. It features many of our favorite artists that they have worked with over the years. And if you have not heard this gem, you need to grab it. So, Kimmy, what's good?
Well, what's good on my end is our pretty boy, lover boy, Mr. Drake, has a new album that had to be titled Certified Lover Boy. It's the 6th studio album by Canadian rapper Drake, and it was released on September 3rd, 2021 by Republic Records. And it features guest appearances by Lil Baby, Jay-Z, Travis Scott, and a slew of others. And guess what else is good this week? The certifiable Kanye premiered his new album titled Donda, dedicated to his dear departed mother, complete with features with Lil Baby, Pusha T, Don Toliver, and many others. And apparently, them both dropping their album practically the same day has fueled their 12-year beef, so whatever. It's all for publicity anyway. So what's good on your end, Marcus?
Hey, what's good on my end? Leela James is back with her 7th studio album entitled See Me, with the hit single Complicated, which is tearing up the charts right now. You can listen to it on all streaming platforms, along with Nas. The legendary Nas has a new album entitled King's Disease 2, and he has guest appearances from Eminem, EPMD, Charlie Wilson, along with Lauryn Hill. That track is fire, I'm telling you. It is also available on all streaming platforms. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we said it all throughout the podcast that we do have a special guest, and I tell you, it doesn't get much bigger than this. Look, this man has been in the music business for over 50 years. His music has been sampled by such artists as Mobb Deep, Kanye West, Scarface, and Jesus, along with others. His 1978 hit, 'Cause I Love You, is a cult classic among African-American culture and is featured in the hit movie The Kings of Comedy. He has one of the most recognizable voices in all of music. Ladies and gentlemen, please help us welcome the man, the myth, the legend, the incomparable Mr. Lenny WIlliams. What's good?
Right. Welcome. Hey, Lenny.
Hey, what's going on? Good morning.
How you doing there, Mr. Lenny WIlliams?
Up and at 'em, as they say. Yes, yeah. Ready to take on the day.
Absolutely, man. Before we get started, again, welcome to the What's Good podcast. Basically where we just talk about music and other types of stuff. Man, listen to me. This is a very big deal for us because we've been like preparing this for a couple of weeks, and we prepared because when we started this podcast, we had no idea where this thing was going to go. We just wanted to be something simple amongst cousins doing what we love to do. And that's just talking about music. But like I said, I mean, but we do, you and I have a mutual friend in Jimmy Doctrine, the Opelika Soul Psycher. And I reached out to him. I know you've done several interviews with him. And I reached out to him. He gave me your number. And here we are, man. And we're just blessed to be in your presence today, man. We thank you so much.
It's a small world after all. Yes, yes.
That's what the song says anyway.
Yes, yes.
Absolutely. So real quick, Lenny, just tell us about your humble beginnings, man. I mean, where you're from, how you got started, and things of that nature.
Well, I was born in Little Rock, Arkansas, and my parents moved to California, Oakland, California, when I was about 14 months old. And we lived right by the church, right behind the church. So, you know, whether I went or if I didn't go, you know, I was hearing church music all the time. And then right down the street from the church was the radio station. You had a big window in there, and you could walk down the street and see the disc jockeys playing music and talking all that jive and stuff. And so music was, you know, just an integral part of my life. I started playing trumpet when I was in the 4th grade. And when I went to church, I was, you know, with the church with the Hawkins family, you know, Walter, Ed, Danny, you know, name them all. Tremaine, she's a little girl. Went to church with Andre Crouch, Billy Preston, you know, people like that. The Stewart family, Sly Stone's family. So I was surrounded by music, surrounded by people that that had, you know, that loved church music, but also had, you know, ideas about, you know, doing secular music. Back in those days, we called it, you know, worldly music. And
right.
And so, you know, that's kind of how I got my start on a dare. When I was in college, a friend of mine asked me to go down to a talent show and see if I could win the money. And we both needed the money. So he was my manager. I don't know about his math, but I guess he thought he was Colonel Parker and I was Elvis. So we split the money, right? It was a 50-50 deal. And so I met somebody down there one weekend. I was there and the guy's like, "Hey, do you want to make a record?" And then that's bam, how it started, you know?
Okay. Right. So you got started on the dare, huh? Pretty much.
Pretty much I got started on the dare. Yeah. A friend of mine just kind of, you know, pushed me to do it. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Kim.
Did you have any idea that you impact R&B the way that you have just by that dare?
Not really, you know. I mean, I was a little frightened, you know, because actually, you know, I was a teenage preacher, and so in college, I you know, the black movement was getting started, and I was going to you know, school with Huey Newton and Bobby Seale, people like that, and they wanted me to get involved in you know, the struggle, and it was. You know, then a lot of issues came up about, you know, religion and how, you know, it affected us as African Americans, and so I was just having a struggle, you know, in my heart, my mind, of how do I worship the same God that you know, the slave masters' children worshipped, the you know, the Ku Klux Klan worshipped. You know, and so I decided to walk away from the church, and so, but in my heart, I was thinking, well, God gave me this gift to use because I was singing in church and you know, use my voice for preaching and everything, and so I was like, if I don't use it, I'm gonna lose it, and so that's also one of the decisions that came to play when I decided to do secular music. Was that I just didn't want to lose my voice. And so as a consequence, you know, the dare, and then the fact that, you know, I was coming into an adult and you know, facing the world with all of these struggles and these things going on in my mind, and, you know, deciding to walk away from, you know, Christianity, but yet didn't want to lose, you know, my God-given gift. And so I decided that I would just do a different kind of music.
Okay. And since you had that musical background and you had all of that going on in your head, as far as with your spirituality, when you began to record music, did you find it difficult to go into that whole process of recording the music? What was your mindset when you first began recording? Outside
Well,
of
I
that,
remember when the first record I did, I was back there and I got in front of the microphone and I'm jumping up and down. And I remember the producer's like, "Hey, man, they can't see that. Just stand there and sing," And so, because come from church where you kind of move around when you sing and stuff like that. And he's like, "You say that for the stage right there. You just stand right there and sing." And so, but it was interesting. Yeah, just I had recorded, at home, in a home, but not my home. I had a friend of mine that had a tape recorder, and we go to his house and we'd record and just kind of see how our voices sounded. So I had done that, on a little small tape recorder, but nothing like a studio. So it was a little intimidating, but I managed to make it through. Yeah.
nice.
Right. So Lenny, again, we want to welcome you again to our podcast, the Good Good Podcast. And this is what we do. We basically just talk about music. We have a theme and we have our little songs that we like as according to that theme. And again, that's our theme this week is our favorite love songs that are not entitled Because I Love You by Lenny WIlliams. And you've given us your playlist. And we're going to get started with that right now. That's okay with you?
Yes, let's do it.
All right, Kim, what's up first?
Up first is the originals, Baby I'm For Real. The original.
But if you cry, I wonder why you cry. I tell you, no lie, this is how I feel. Baby, I'm for real.
Now, Lenny, we gotta make sure you understand that we can't play the entire song because of copyright or infringement rules and whatnot. But however, you do get that idea. Again, that was the originals, Baby I'm For Real. Now, Lenny, do you have any idea who this was written by? If not,
Marvin Gaye wrote that song.
Absolutely. Marvin Gaye wrote that song.
I asked him, I said, "Marvin, that was my favorite song." I said, "How in the world could you write a song like that and give it away?" And he said, I can't think of the name of the lead singer for the originals, but he said, when I wrote it, I had him in mind. And he said, so to me, it was his song. I wrote it for him. And Marvin was a very generous person. And I never forget the time I asked him. I was like, "Man, I just can't believe that you would just give a song like that away." And he just said, "No, it really was. I wrote it, but it really wasn't my song. It was for the lead singer of the originals."
Absolutely. It's also co-written by his sister, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
I'm not sure. I just knew Marvin wrote it. Yeah, right.
Yeah, they've got credit to his sister Ann and Gordy J.
No, that was his wife. Yeah, that was
his wife. Excuse me, his wife. My apologies. Yeah. His wife. Yeah. This was released on Motown. It reached #1 on the Black Singles chart and number 14 on the Pop Singles. And Lenny, just tell us why this song? Why did you want this song on your playlist?
Oh, well, there's a lot of things going on in my life at that time. The song was a fantastic song. There's just a lot of things going on in my life. Like I said, I was just going through struggles, with my Christian walk. I had gotten a divorce from my first wife, and I'd be riding the car with my boys, and that record would come on, and I'd be singing it and everything. So just besides just being a great song, it was just a point in my life that where there was a lot of changes going on. So whenever I would hear that, it would kind of soothe the savage beast, so to speak.
All right, wonderful. Now what we're gonna go ahead, Kim.
I'm sorry. Now this song has actually been remade several times. I think After Seven actually remade it, but I have to say the original by the Originals is my favorite version. It's just pure and you could feel the emotion. The other ones were just trying to repeat what the Originals did.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I gotta be honest, Kim. You know what I'm saying? I love originality. I love the old school, but hey, I like After Seven's version myself. I can't believe I'm saying. Yeah, I just do. I mean, I love the original's version, but I like. I don't know, just something about it. I mean, that's just me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, I like to defy the odds. I like to try to test the waters a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, hey, but the originals they did a fantastic job. I mean, I love the song. So hey, the originals, baby, I'm for real, classic. So
Classic.
yeah. So moving on, what we got next, Kim?
Well, since it just so happens, since Marvin Gaye actually wrote Baby I'm For Real, the next is Distant Lover by Marvin Gaye, one of my favorite songs.
Distant lover, so many miles away. Heaven knows that I long for you. Every night, and sometimes I live through the day. Distant lover.
Now this song was from Marvin Gaye's album Let's Get It On. This particular song peaked at number 28 on the pop charts and number 12 on the R&B pop charts in 1974. Now, actually, the live version of this peaked higher.
That's my favorite version.
My favorite
Absolutely.
version also.
Now, Lenny, can you tell us where it was recorded at?
I don't know. I probably in L.A. I would imagine. I'm not sure. Yeah.
It was recorded at the Oakland Coliseum, the live version.
Oh, the live version. Yeah. Matter of fact, my friend of mine produced that, promoted that show. Yeah, right in Oakland. Yes. Right. Yeah.
That's great. Now, let me ask you a question. Now, real quick. Now, what was your actual relationship between you and Marvin Gaye? Were y'all pretty good friends? Or?
No, we weren't best friends, but I remember meeting him. And first time I met him, he said to me, yeah, Gorgeous George. Gorgeous George is a designer that makes clothes. He said, yeah, Gorgeous George told me about you. And he says, you don't never have to worry about me coming on behind you. And I was thinking, here this guy's, at the peak of his career, and that he was, just so humbled, to, try to give, me some credit or, make me feel like that I was, essential. And but I found that to be true with a lot of the early Motown artists, that they were very, very humble, very accepting, and just knew how to meet people. Yeah. So, but we had a good relationship, and we had a lot of fun together.
Absolutely. All right. Now, Lenny, now what we're going to do is we're going to get into some songs from our playlist, the songs that we like. Again, our theme is our favorite love songs, not entitled "Cause I Love You" by Lenny WIlliams. And now we've heard a couple by you. Now let's get into a couple of our favorite songs.
Okay.
Probably maybe some of yours as well. Kim, what you got first?
Well, it looks like this is going to be Isley Brothers' "Groove with You." Now, whose favorite song is that?
That's mine.
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
Thinking
that song "Groove with
Now,
You" was.
Marcus,
Yes, go ahead.
what is Groove with You about?
Really?
What?
I'm reading the lyrics. I've listened to this song several times, and I'm like, sounds like he's just trying to get up with somebody. What it sound like to you?
Yeah, that sounds like I don't think they're thinking about making a pecan pie or nothing like that. I mean, I'm thinking something like getting up with somebody. But anyway, that song is from the album Showdown, released in 1978. This song reached number 16 on the R&B charts. That particular song, "Groove with You," reached number 4 on the pop charts. But the album Showdown itself actually reached number 1 as far as sold albums. Now, Lenny, are you familiar with this song? Because it came out the same year as a very familiar song of yours as well.
Yeah, I love that song. Matter of fact, last weekend I did a show down in Montgomery, Alabama with the Isley Brothers, and Ron still sounds the same, you know.
Nice.
Got that beautiful voice. Yeah. So, all of the Isley Brothers songs, you know, they were outstanding. And when I was making my list, it's just so many great songs, you know, just trying to figure, what to leave off, you know, it's like, oh yeah, but yeah, that definitely would be one of my favorite songs too. It's not called "Cause I Love You." Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. This song has been sampled a couple of times. One track that I remember, Isaac to Isaac, called "Old School." That song was sampled. It's charted pretty high as well. Byron, what did you think of it?
One of my favorites, all-time favorites. It's actually a solid fixture in the soundtrack growing up. And
it's the soundtrack of the Black experience, honestly.
Right. And when I create a Quiet Storm playlist, it's always included. Definitely.
All right. So, Kim, what we got next?
What's next is one of my favorites. Some may not know this song because this was playing on the jazz station in New York when I was out of college, but it's just a beautiful song by Phil Perry, "Woman."
Woman, in the lonely days of winter, as the wind cries out your name, the flame of what we had still burns. I don't understand, woman. In my heart I try so hard to forgive you for the promise you made and broke, but no one hears my prayers. The silence hangs in the air, woman.
So, have you heard this song before?
I've heard it.
I mean, I heard it when you decided to put out this, you know what I'm saying? I mean, when you decided to give the playlist, I had to, of course I had to listen to it because, a lot of the songs that you picked, Kim, nobody knows but Kim. But I mean, it's okay. It's okay.
It's going to be good, though.
It's going to be good. Yeah. It's a beautiful song, though, to say the least. I mean, beautifully written. I love the piano. There's nothing like a nice classical piano in the background of a song. I mean,
now really about good. That piano, this is actually on keyboardist Don Grusin's album. So Phil Perry was actually just featured on his album. So this is actually a Don Grusin song, but Phil Perry tore this song up.
Yeah.
Phil Perry originally used to sing with the Montclairs from 1971 to 1975. He was also known for performing the opening song to Disney's sitcom Goof Troop.
Yeah.
And I would add this, as beautiful as this song is, it's more of a breakup or release type of song. Yeah. And it builds up, and it kind of factors into one of my favorite songs that we will be talking about later. But it sounds so sweet at the beginning, and it just kind of builds and builds and builds to the point you're at that standpoint of Phil Perry's signature, where he's just belting at the end. and it really stands out. It's a solid performance. Lenny, have you ever worked with Phil Perry?
I have. I worked with him quite a few times. Phil's a very interesting guy. He's from East St. Louis, and he can really talk. You got to sit down and buckle yourself down when you get ready to have a conversation with Phil Perry. But excellent singer, real funny guy, and a good person.
Yeah,
I've never heard that song either.
I love this song like I did. I love this song.
All right. What's next, Cam?
Yes. Next up, another soundtrack to our blackness is LTD Love Ballad.
So lovers come and then lovers go. That's what folks say. Don't they know? More than they could see. What we have is much more than they could see.
Now, whose favorite is this?
That's mine.
That's Byron.
One of my favorites, yes. 1976.
Absolutely.
1976. When Jeffrey Osborne was the lead singer of LTD, from their album "Love to the World," a huge R&B hit for them. I believe it went to number 1, and it spent some time on the Hot 100s. I think peaking at number 20, maybe, or the top 20. I'm sure. But when I think of Quiet Storm, this was something that was always played. Even you can remember around our aunts and uncles, parents,
and our moms.
Yes. This was always a staple, this song.
Absolutely. You got to love Jeffrey Osborne. Jeffrey has that soothing voice. No offense to you, Lenny, you're the man. But Jeffrey has a very soothing voice. I mean, I love this song. Like you say, when you talk about Quiet Storm, when we talk about slow jams, I mean, this has got to be one of the ones that's on your playlist. So again, I love this ballad. Kim?
Mr. Woo Woo Woo. Goodness.
Yeah, him. Yeah.
Uncle James's favorite song.
Yeah.
No. Yes. But yes, LTD. But a lot of people didn't realize that Mr. Woo 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 was the lead singer of LTD.
Mm-hmm. So, and Lenny, did you get a chance to work with? Have you ever worked with Jeffrey Osborne or LTD at any point?
Yeah, quite a few times. Yeah, with Jeffrey and LTD. Jeffrey was a drummer, and for the band, and distinguished himself as a fantastic singer. Yeah, right. Yeah, so that's one of my favorites. Actually, one of my sons sang that to his wife on his wedding day. Yeah.
Oh.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, so how many children did you have?
5. Yeah.
5.
Mm-hmm.
And are they all involved in the industry? In any kind of way?
Not really. Yeah, they all do different things. But I do have two of my sons sing. Yes.
Okay.
Very nice.
Cool. So now what we're going to do now, Lenny, is we're going to take a pause and we're going to listen to some of your music that you've been featured in or that you've done over the last several years, and just enjoy it.
Okay.
Kim, what you got first?
So we're going to start with Tower of Power, which I did not know that you said.
No, none of us knew.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I knew. What you talking about? don't put me in that group.
I knew. 'Cause I could never make you unhappy. I love you
Now check it out. Now, Lenny, check it out. Now, as I'm listening to that, I just remembered one of my favorite songs by this group was "You're Still a Young Man." Now, are you on that song?
I didn't sing the original, but I did a version of it. Yeah, on one of the CDs we did it in New York. Yes, yeah.
Okay. Kim and Barney, y'all familiar with that song? Yes, you are.
No.
Yes, you are. You're still a young man, baby.
Okay, I remember that version now.
Why
Hey,
don't
don't
you just let us get the snippet of it? I'd rather hear
I
the-
know, right? I would rather.
I just thought about it. I mean, y'all know how we do, man.
Yeah.
You know, we get to talking about stuff just kind of comes up with it. But I mean, hey, it is what it is, man. You say you're not on the original, Lenny?
Pardon?
You say you're
No,
not,
I'm not on the original, right? Yes, right. Version of that, but I did sing a version of that. Yes, a studio version. Yes.
Okay, cool.
I just love this song because it's to me a sunny day song. I picture someone driving with pastures around them, sun shining, with probably in a convertible, or whatever, and just enjoying what life is giving at the moment.
That's a joyful song.
It really is. It really
Tower
is.
of Power. That's why it's from the Tower of Power.
But Lenny, your vocals. I mean, you helped make that song their biggest hit to date. That's their biggest hit to date. So
yeah, so very hard to go. Yeah, and then I think the second biggest single that they had was "Don't Change Horses in the Middle of the Stream," which I sang and I wrote with Johnny Guitar Watson.
Okay.
Outstanding.
But that's the thing. It wasn't until I listened to it again that now I hear Lenny. I can hear that. That's
exactly.
You.
I do have a quick question for you, Lenny. Since you were working with Tower of Power, and after you did the 3 albums with them, when you decided to leave initially, did you have in mind what type of sound you wanted for yourself after working with them?
I think I did. Yeah. I mean, I was working on an album while I was with them, so I had an idea of the sound I was looking for. I'm not sure that I captured it, but eventually I did. When I started working with Frank Wilson, who was a Motown producer, and and did the Choosing You album, and sometimes take a little time to develop, and capture what you're looking for. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Cool. So what else we got, Ken?
So we're going to go back with one of Lenny's favorites. And it's one that we all should know from the great Smokey Robinson.
Oh, yeah.
Mistakes, I know I made a few, but I'm only human. You've made mistakes too.
That was Ooh Baby Baby by Smokey Robinson. Of course, we all know Smokey Robinson was a pillar in the Motown, the making of Motown, what it was back in the late 50s, early 60s. That particular song right there was released in 1965. It went as far as high as number 4 on the R&B charts, number 16 on the top 100. But what boggles my mind about this song, the Rolling Stones made this song number 266 of the top 500 greatest songs of all time. So how is that song in the top 500 and "Cause I Love You" by Lenny Williams not? Explain that one to me, Lenny.
I don't know. I mean, I guess probably record sales, things of that nature, and so a lot of factors go into it. Who made the list, who contributed, to the list and things of that nature. So it's just everybody, has their own songs that they like, And I'm sure that, somebody else would compile a list and maybe that song wouldn't even be on the list. So, I guess it's just, people like what they like.
Honestly, I think, I'm sorry, Kim. Well, I was going to say, honestly, my favorite cover is done by Linda Ronstadt in 1978. That was my favorite version outside of the Miracles original. The Rolling Stones, I think because they were the Stones, they had that huge name, and that's what carried them. But Linda Ronstadt, to me, did a solid cover of this one.
Now, my question is, because I Love You came out compared to when Steve Harvey had it on the Kings of Comedy, did the notoriety or did you become more famous then than you were before?
Well, I had kind of dropped out of music. I'd say me and music had a falling out, and so it wasn't that I just quit, just my phone just kind of stopped ringing, and so I was, doing other things. And then when Steve Harvey did the Kings of Comedy, then, people started like, where's Lenny? What's he doing? And then, people started calling me, and I actually hadn't done a gig in maybe a few years. And people started calling, and then I, started taking gigs, and then next thing you know, I was in a play, and then, just, the whole world kind of opened up, so, most definitely, getting that kind of attention, the song, and then me as the singer, and then, subsequently people found out I was a songwriter and the publisher, so it brought a lot of attention my way, and it brought a lot of activity to my mailbox as well, getting those checks in the mail. Yeah.
That's the best kind of attention there.
That's a great activity.
Yeah. Absolutely. So
yes.
So why did you why did you like this particular song by Smoke?
Baby. Well, that song came out, and those types of songs like that, were the first songs that you slow down in my era that we slow danced on. So it's like, oh, ooh, baby, come on, you get a chance to slow dance and get close and snuggle up, and just try to see what you could do, Yeah,
Lenny was trying to get his freak on. That's what he was going.
The days.
Right.
That was the back in the days where they were really smooth about how they wanted to ask you to get their freak on. Not like today.
Yeah. But anyway, now we're gonna jump back into our playlist. Lenny, what you got for us, Kim?
So, in the same respect of Ooh Baby Baby, and going back to what Marcus said, I have a tendency to pick songs that nobody else has heard of and that you only know if you have the album. So this one is Tony, Holy Smokes, and Gee Whiz.
Love it.
One of my favorite songs that you had to know, you only knew if you had this album.
My favorite album by them too.
Yes, it is their best album.
Holy Smoke, finally at my home, where holy smokes and holy smokes and
I played it a little bit longer because I love this song so much. So, but we're going to talk about Tony. Tony is one of those groups that takes things back to the way things were when a band actually played music and almost everybody in the group could sing and really put their all into their music. And it's not the synthesized mess or auto-tune like you hear now. So Holy Smokes and Gee Whiz was the 8th track from Tony's final album, House of Music, in 1996, which I believe is their best album ever.
They were in the pocket.
Yeah, yes, it was. And it just is, it's one of those songs with a hint of old school flavor with vocals from that took you back to kind of that high falsetto from the Stylistics. If you listen to the whole song, I wish I could play the whole song for you.
Second verse.
honey. But I wish I could play the whole song for you because you could hear the old school love in there. This is a beautiful love song.
A hidden gem. I agree with you. It's a hidden gem, and I'm surprised that it was never released as an official single. It's a different type of strong structure, but still, I think it would have been a great single. I hear it on Quiet Storms, especially here in the Washington D.C. area. But yeah, it's one of those hidden gems, and I think that once someone hears the song, they will instantly become a Tony fan and want for more. And unfortunately, so far, that's the final album with the original format of the group. But yeah, a great selection there.
Absolutely. Now, Lenny, have you worked with Raphael Saadiq or Dwayne Wiggins or either one of those artists?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I just did it was in the studio last year with Raphael, and I see Dwayne all the time. They went to our church. Yeah, I knew them when they were just little boys. Carl Wheeler, Dwayne, Raphael, Timmy. Yeah, right. Yeah, so we all went to church with their parents and uncles and aunts and everything like that. Yeah, and saw them grow up and become what they are. Yeah.
Something about Oakland. I swear, all of that talent coming out of Oakland.
Yeah, Oakland, California. Yeah.
So, like, I guess it's safe to say maybe Oakland was kind of like the Detroit of the West Coast for the most part.
You could probably say that. We didn't really have the record companies. Most everybody went somewhere. They went to LA or New York or something. But we did have a couple of record companies here. But most definitely the talent. Half the people in Prince's band were from Oakland. Just a breeding ground for great musicians. Yeah.
Okay.
Since you mentioned Prince, Sheila E. actually played percussions on this album for them. So, which of course Sheila E. was one of Prince's percussionists and ex-girlfriend, if you want to call her that. But
Prince protege.
Yes, and actually Tony actually was playing for Prince at one time.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Amazing.
So, that's pretty cool.
But I think it's interesting that a lot of the songs that we picked, you almost worked with each and every one of them.
I've been around. Yeah, I've been out here 50-something years, so I've had the opportunity to meet and work with a lot of people. Yeah.
All right, good. So what's next, Kim?
So next is Mr. Barry White. I've got so much love to give. Whose song is that?
You better believe. Hey, show you right. Show you right.
Girl, can you see that I've got so much to give to you, my dear. It's gonna take a lifetime. It's gonna take years to you, my dear. I've got so much to give. It's gonna take my lifetime.
The maestro himself, Barry White, I've got so much love to give. This was released back in 1973 from the self-titled album, I've Got So Much Love to Give, which peaked at the number one on the R&B charts and number 3 on the top 100. And Barry White is my self-proclaimed godfather, man. I mean, you will never find a man as big as he was, as smooth as he was, and with the voice that he had. But what really appealed to me about Barry White, we talk about bands and people having that sound of a band. You got your guitars, your percussion, and your and things of that nature. But Barry White, this had an orchestra.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
You hear me? He had an orchestra, man. And I mean, that's never been done again. I mean, I don't think in history, but to have a black man singing that I can think of, that sang R&B music, to have an actual orchestra with flutes and clarinets and all kinds of stuff was really really what set him apart from a lot of other artists. Now, Lenny, of course, I'm going to ask you, did you get a chance to work with Barry at any time?
Well, I did show with him, but never got a chance to work with him in the studio. But we were friends. Barry was a very interesting person, just a regular dude, and see him at the studio running around Los Angeles when I lived down in Hollywood, and hey, what's up, you might have his rollers in his head, whatever,
Oh, wow.
And just an interesting cat, and just very humble, and super talented, and and I've got to be good friends with Gene Page, who did all of his string arrangements, and so Gene Page did all of the arrangements for Barry White's music, all of his big hits, and so they were a dynamic duo for sure.
Okay. Kim, what you take of the song?
I mean, like you said, the fact that he, like, nowadays when they have strings or anything like that, that's all synthesized or coming out of the computer or their keyboard. But Barry had his own actually string quartet or string section. Barry was ahead of his time, and definitely one of the underdogs. Not really an underdog, but he's a little bit unsung to me, because he should have definitely been more mainstream, because he had one of the deepest voices out there ever. Number one, no one else sang like him or sounded like him or ever did since then, really. So Barry is one of those unsung magnificent.
He's definitely a pioneer.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Marcus. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say, Kim had an orchestra. He had an orchestra. He had
Unlimited Orchestra.
Yeah. He was on some Pavarotti.
Pavarotti.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Yeah,
even with that orchestra, I believe he was considered the start of disco with the Love Unlimited Orchestra. With one of their selections, one of their songs.
What was that song? There was a song that it was like a whole 10-minute piece that was all music.
Was it Let the Music Play? Was it Let the Music Play? Lenny, what was it?
I'm not sure.
Love's Theme, I thought, right? Was it the Love's Theme?
Yeah, it's Love's Theme. Yeah.
The Love Theme. That's great.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's considered the very first. That's the 1973. That's considered like one the very first disco song, and then those in Europe and here in the United States, of course, but they jumped onto that sound with the lush strings and orchestra sound behind the nice little 4/4 beat.
Okay, all right. So, what we got next, Kim?
Up next, Patty.
Patty.
Another soundtrack to the Black experience.
Yes, a huge hit for Patti LaBelle. That was my favorite, by the way.
Yeah, I'm glad you stopped it, Kim, because Byron was about to start crying, man.
Oh my gosh! This is the song that this is a Journey song, and Phil Perry's song falls under this category too, because it's very soft and smooth at the beginning, and it just kind of
builds up.
Yeah. That's a powerful performance alone. Vocal performance alone.
Patty's going to bring a powerful performance, even if she's singing ABC 1 2 3.
You believe her.
Yeah.
By the time she hits those last high notes, you really believe this is how she feels. And, hopefully, who she was singing to got it. And they made beautiful music together for a while or whatever.
Yeah.
We'll see.
They made beautiful something. Now, Lenny, did she take a page from your book or something?
That's one of my favorite songs of all time. I don't even know why I didn't pick that song. But Patti LaBelle's just an awesome artist. I've done a lot of shows with her. I remember I was on the road with her, and Richard Pryor. Richard was the headliner. So I would go on first, Patti would go on, and then Richard. So we hit Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And "Cause I Love You" was like the #1 song down there. So this lady was promoting the show, and she said, okay, tonight, the way the show gonna go is Patti going on, then Lenny, and then Richard. Patti's like, oh no, that's not the way it is. We've been going all over the country, and this is the way it is. And they said, no, this is where it's gonna be. So then Patti calls Richard. So we downstairs. Richard said, no, it's gonna be Lenny, Patti, and then me. And the lady said, no, because if these people in Baton Rouge, they come late, and if they come and Lenny they don't hear that "Cause I Love You" song, they're going to tear this place up. So then Richard's like, the hell with it. I'm going back upstairs and do what I do, right? He went back upstairs and probably, you know what Richard probably was doing.
Oh, yeah.
So
praying. He wasn't praying.
Right. So it turned out that Patti went on, and I'm thinking, the lady wasn't doing me no favor, because what singer in their right mind want to come on behind Patti LaBelle, right?
I know, right?
Right.
But you can
only Aretha Franklin or somebody like that, you know what I mean? And so, Patti went on, then me, and I survived, and then Richard. Yeah, so that was my Patti LaBelle story. But that song is actually one of my favorite songs of all time, and I always wanted to do a version of it. Yeah.
Lenny, I will say my alma mater is in Baton Rouge, and I can honestly say your song "Cause I Love You" was always a crowd favorite, no matter what event, party I was at during that time frame. Whenever it came on, people went in. Even going to clubs where they have performances or people lip syncing, they would tear that song up. So yes, I can attest to that truth there that you just spoke.
Yes, I remember that vividly. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm gonna piggyback on that. Since we're talking about "Cause I Love You," again, it's your biggest hit to date. I remember the first time I heard that song. I was driving home. I'm from a little small town called Blakely, Georgia, and I was driving home on the back dirt roads. I don't know if I'm pretty sure you had a couple of those in Little Rock, Arkansas. And I remember hearing this song, and honest to God, I pulled the car over. I pulled the car over because the emotions that you were singing in that song, I mean, I don't know. I was trying to figure out, like, wow, who did it to him? So, as I say that, I want to know, Lenny, who did it to you that caused all those emotions to go into that song?
Well, that song was a combination of some of the things I was going through, but just me and my friends, watching my friends break up and be in relationships and how they acted, and try to act like nonchalant, like it wasn't, nothing wasn't going on. But it's like, yeah, but your shirt, did you wear some lemonade on your shirt, or what are those tears? And
why your shirt all wet?
Yeah, right. Yeah. So, but so it was just, and then the day I sang it, I was down in Hollywood singing, and Frank Wilson was producing. He said, "Hey, I talked to Andre Crouch today. Him and his sister Sandra want to come by and check you out in the studio today." So I'm singing the song, and Andre Crouch is looking at me. And I'm looking at Andre Crouch. He looking at me. The greatest gospel a writer and arranger at that time. And, so I had to, I'm trying to make Andre want to put some money in the church basket, right? So I had to dig down deep and put all the emotion I could into that song.
I love it.
You did a fantastic. You did a fantastic job of that. Again, it's a cult classic among the African American culture, and it being featured on the Kings of Comedy actually bridged the gap between different generations. Um, how does that make you feel? Being able to do that to kind of bridge the gap between different generations by that one song.
I don't know. I mean, it's a humbling, humbling thing, just to think, why me, why God let me write that song with my friend Michael Bennett, why, I mean, I did the song twice, I did it once and didn't have the talking in it, then I came back and did it again, and put the talking in it, just a whole sequence of things, how it happened that it never was a single, that it distinguished itself, to become, this great song that, that so many people love. And, I'm just thankful, thankful that, that I was the vehicle, that the song came through.
Lenny, I do have a question. When Kanye West used it for Twista's song, what was that like when you heard that, when you heard how that song was used, and what was that process like? Did he contact you before using it, or did you all have to backtrack to get the proper accreditations?
Well, I have an administrator who administrates the song for me. Okay. And so so I really had no idea, because they don't really call me a lot of times. They'll just say, somebody wants to do a song, whatever. And so so first time I heard it, it's like, I was like, I tell a joke. I said, damn, they had me sound like a chipmunk in the back, right? and I got my first royalty statement, and I got a check for $99,000 for writing the song, and then I got a check for $99,000 for being the publisher of the song. I say, ooh, ooh, I'll be a chipmunk for that kind of money, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it was just awesome. And then, Scarface sampled it, and just went on and on and on. Yeah. So, but now things like that don't really happen with songs because of the streaming, things like that. I mean, I probably just off of that one song that Kanye did probably made $500,000. I don't think a song could do that nowadays. With the advent of streaming, because you don't really get half a penny for, for maybe 1,000 streams, maybe just only be a penny, or so it's I
would think they would pay the artists up front heavily nowadays with the streaming. The original artists, like when it comes to sampling, I would think that would be in place, but I guess that's still some type of legislation that needs to happen under that regard. It's still evolving.
It's a process, it's a process. I believe at some point in time, it'll level out, but yeah, it's the royalty checks they're still good, but they're not we're not as good as they used to be. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, anyway. Wow. Let's get back into the music, shall we? Kim, give us one of Lenny's songs that he.
Just so happens, I have a Kenny G featuring Lenny WIlliams, and I have a little confession to make after I play this.
Oh boy!
Don't make me wait for love this time.
Now, Lenny,
yes,
I used to hear this song all the time, and I am so sorry. I thought that was Peabo Bryson.
You did?
I'm so sorry. Wow. I give all props to you, Lenny, because I loved this song.
Yeah,
that was awesome me. Song. Yeah.
Yeah. So how did that song come? How did you get to work with the likes of a Kenny G? How does that happen?
I was just riding down the street one day and my beeper went off and I pulled over to a phone before cell phones, and I pulled over to a payphone and called, and there was a friend of mine saying that Narda Michael Walden, great producer, was producing Aretha Franklin, and that Clive Davis had asked him if he could produce this saxophone player that had been produced by Najee, and you're going to give him one more shot. And so and since I had been in Tower Power and sang with all the horns, they thought it might be a good pairing. So I went over, and my friend Preston Glass was producing the song for Narda and working with Narda. And we just did the song. And next thing I know, the album sold 16 million copies. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, that was the lead single from that Duotones album of Kenny G. And I was telling, I can't remember if it was Kim or Marcus. We were talking about this song. This used to be on a regular rotation for me, like every night sleeping when I was in the Navy, or my CD player or whatever, or tape deck that I had. I just love this record. It's one of those soothing, relaxing songs. I mean, it solidifies, like, when I think of smooth jazz, I think of this particular song vocally. When I think of vocal smooth jazz, this was like the instrument for that. And I want to thank you for your contribution in the song, because the song wouldn't have been what it is or was without your vocals, without you being on it. Kenny G can blow as much as he wants, but your vocals carried the song to number 2 on the adult contemporary charts at the time, and it was a huge. I think it did well on the Hot 100 too.
Yeah, it did. I think it went to number. I think it was like number 16 or something like that. Number 16 or something like that. Maybe no, I think it was 15. Number 15. Yeah, I remember 15. And I remember Casey Kasem called me and said, if it goes number 10, we're gonna have you on this, whatever. And I was like pulling for it, but it didn't make it. Yeah, right. Yeah. But
Casey Kasem.
Yeah.
I know.
Right? Yeah. And you also mentioned Najee. That's a name we haven't heard
in a long time. So hey, good you got a chance to work with those people. So hey, let's get back into Lenny's playlist. What we got next, Cam? Well, The Godfather of Soul, the most beggingest song I ever heard in my life, but but he got his point across, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Please, 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 please. Please, please, please. Honey, please. No. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. I love you so. Baby, you did me wrong.
Now, again, the Godfather of Soul, may rest in peace, one of the greatest singers, entertainers, period, ever to grace the face of the earth. James Brown on that one. This song reached number 6 on the R&B charts, number 19 on the pop charts. Ike Tina Turner actually did a remake of this song. But Lenny, what was so appealing about this song that you wanted to put it on your playlist?
Well, I remember when I was in junior high school, everybody's parents said, you can't listen to Please, 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 because everybody was crunching and grinding and slow dancing. And, oh, Lord, it's like a whole bunch of girls, got pregnant. I think the whole bunch was their first experience. I mean, it was like literally, preachers was getting up in church talking about, y'all kids can't be listening to Please, 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 because they turn that red light on and you get in the corner and get to grinding and carrying on and scrunching. We was trying to get it, And you know, so it was just intriguing. You know, it was like well, they put that on, and Lord have mercy. I need to fan myself right now just thinking. Yeah, that was an amazing song, and I just couldn't believe it. I listening back, I think about it now. I mean, the whole. I don't, you know, I was living in California, but it was like the whole thing. Everybody's parents was like, don't let your kids listen to Please, 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 because it was like they knew what was going to happen. Yeah.
And of course, the kids are going to listen to it.
Yes.
Right. There's a bunch
they
of
say
kids
no.
about 50, 60 years old right now that owes their life to James Brown and
exactly. Please, Please,
because it worked.
So what we got next, Kim?
Okay, up next, after all of this, another unsung group that I love, but this isn't actually one of my favorites, The Whispers, In the Mood.
Let me do things my way. This is what I do. I'm gonna do it to get you in the mood. Baby, I'll do it all to get you in the mood. This is what I do to get you in the mood. Baby, I'll do it all to get you in the mood. This is what I do to get you in the mood.
Now, them twins, honey, they some singing twins.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. So I picked that song because, you know, it takes me back to that place. You remember when Video Soul was still on the air, and, you know, I used to love the video treatment for different songs. And I think the video treatment that this particular song had captured the mood of the message that they were trying to communicate. And so, I don't know, it's just one of those solid records that paints a picture of that perfect evening that you want to create for someone.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're
very good at doing that.
Yeah, and it was written by Babyface, so, you know, of course it captures the essence of, you know, the flavor that Babyface brings to his music. Surprisingly, it wasn't a huge hit. I mean, it was big for R&B. Well, I mean, to me, it should be at the top of the list of all slow jam playlists.
That's what I'm talking about. The Whispers are unsung because all of their songs all have that very smooth, melodic, relaxing vibe to it. And I can't think of not one other song. Even Rock Steady. Remember Rock Steady?
Yeah,
even that
from the same album.
Exactly. Even that one was one of those songs where you could just really vibe to. And the Whispers don't get as much credit as they should.
Okay. All right. Well, guys, let's go to the last song on Lenny's playlist. I think it's Aretha Franklin.
All right.
No problem.
Oh, it ain't no way. Ain't no way. It ain't no way. Ain't no way. It just ain't no way, baby. Ain't no way. Ain't no way, baby. Ain't no way. It ain't no way for me to love you. If you won't let me.
The late
Again, that's-
Aretha Franklin.
Absolutely. Ain't No Way by Aretha Franklin. Again, that was written actually by her younger sister, Carolyn Franklin. It peaked at number 16 on the Hot 100, number 9 on the R&B charts. Now, if you would have played it like a couple of seconds longer, you hear the falsetto that. and that wonderful voice is none other than Cissy Houston. mother of Whitney Houston with the Upper Range. Now, Lenny, tell us about this. And let me guess, you were bumping the ground on this song too?
No, I was a little bit later. I think I was going all the way on this one, but right. I think we were going all the way then by that time. Yes. But I first met Aretha Franklin when I was about 13, and her father was traveling and preaching, and our choir, sang background for her, and then eventually I got a chance to go on tour with her. And we became very good friends. And I remember I was doing a play with Billy D. Williams in Detroit. And so this truck pulls up, and out comes this. Aretha really loved flowers, right? She loved giving him this bouquet of assorted flowers for Billy D. Williams. So it looked like she probably spent maybe, $500 to $800 for it. And so the guy goes back and he comes out with this giant bouquet of red roses. Looked like maybe she might have spent about $1,500 on it. And it was for me, right? And so my wife was with me. My wife was like, "Oh, hell no. Red roses mean something." I said, "What's Aretha Franklin? I don't give a, she was hot." And I said, "What? I might have to take one for the queen, and but so it was just a kind of running joke in our family that my wife was jealous because the Queen of Soul gave me $1,500 worth of red roses. But I loved all of Aretha's songs, and definitely "Ain't No Way" was one of my favorites, and just honored that we got a chance to become really good friends, and so she just touched me in a way that that she touched so many people.
Lenny, have you seen the movie Respect?
I haven't seen it yet, but I plan to watch it. Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of interesting, like when they showed her recording this song, how she had her sister sing out the cadence of how it should be sung, just initially over the instrumentation. She just doing it with the beat of her hand.
Uh-huh.
But then Aretha did her magic at the piano and made it something completely bountiful, even more. Right. So I do have a question. Like when it comes to you were classically trained in band at an early age, but when it came to recording some of your music, or when you had the initial concept of a song, did you all have a cadence type of meetings just to come up with a concept, or was it always structured to where you sat down with a pianist or other musicians and just made it organically happen?
Just kind of go for it.
Oh.
Just kind of like turn the music on. Let me do what I do, kind of thing like that. Certain songs, like "What Is Hip" that I did with Child Power, that were more band oriented. Of course, I had to kind of like structure my performance around that. But generally, I kind of like songs that got nice chords, bring out the emotion, kind of make you feel like you at church, or you want to go somewhere near there, and then try to blend it. So I sometimes if I'm in the studio and I can't hear a certain interval between something, I might go to the piano, and then I can see it, and then then I can perform it. But generally, I just try to just get in where I fit in, and and then but hopefully what I do makes the song better.
Oh,
now, Lenny, we do understand that you got another engagement that you've got to go to, and we want to thank you so much for being on our podcast. But before you go, we got to know, do you have any other projects that's coming out that we should look forward to?
Yeah, I've been working with Levi Caesar, who was the guitar player for Prince in the New Power Generation band, and we've been doing some music. I've got a song out called Tonight. Got a new song called Fine that we just did, and so we're just working on new music. In the studio, goofing around and seeing what we come up with, and so we're excited about all the new music that we've been doing lately. Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Fine, great album from last year. I like that.
Thank you, appreciate that. Yeah, yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. You also have a single. You also have a new single out called "Southern Girl," if I'm not mistaken.
Southern Girl, yeah. Levi and I did that. Yeah, so we just been just working, writing music and doing our thing. Yeah, yeah.
All right. Again, ladies and gentlemen, our guest this week on the Week Got That Good Experience podcast, the legendary Mr. Lenny WIlliams. Thank you so much for taking the time out for being with us today. We really, really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And we wish you the best of luck on all your endeavors going forward. And again, we just thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Okay, God bless you all. God bless you all, and all y'all cousins, huh? Yeah.
Yes.
First
cousin.
First cousin.
I appreciate y'all. Y'all be good. You guys got a wealth of knowledge about music. I was just so impressed. You know who wrote the songs and all the other kind of stuff and everything, who produced whatever. So it was a rewarding experience for me today, and I hope to come back again. All right.
Most definitely. You're welcome.
Welcome you
You're
back.
part of the family now.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I'm a cousin too, right? Yes. Right.
You're brown. Yeah. You're brown.
Be good now. God bless you. Though. All right.
Bless you.
Love you.
Take care.
Bye now. Love you too.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
Well, that was wonderful. That was wonderful.
Excellent.
Well, we have one more song since he led us into this, where he's going to be recording with one of Prince's previous bandmates with the New Power Generation. The next song, actually, one of my last love songs, is none other than Adore. Now, do I really need to explain how much I love this man?
Well, maybe not the ride.
After me.
I know, I want to play the whole thing. I would love to play the whole thing. But Adore was the last song on Prince's masterpiece album, Sign of the Times, in 1987. One of the most well-known love songs in the Black community. Adore is a song by Prince and, of course, the love of my life. And yes, this song, there are no words. No one has ever come anywhere near to singing anything close to this. I love this man so much.
This is a solid example. Look, this is a solid example of hidden gems on an album, and a testament for all of us. To those who may not be aware, with albums, some of the best music is not necessarily released as an official single.
Exactly.
And will carry the album.
Yeah, absolutely. This is one of my favorite songs about Prince. I didn't realize it hadn't been an official single, but again, this is my favorite love song by Prince. So again, the song speaks for itself. I mean, just a great vibe by Prince.
Yes, indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Great selection.
So radio stations were just playing it. It wasn't even released as a single. They heard it and were like, "Oh, I'm playing this."
Yeah.
So,
and you know what? I think that happened with the bulk of Prince's ballads on his albums.
mm-hmm.
I don't think anything. There's only a handful of ballads that were released as a single. Most of his true hits, they weren't official singles.
Yeah, absolutely.
They were underground per se.
Yeah.
Word of mouth.
Yeah. So guys, I guess that would be it for this episode of that good podcast experience. We've had a ball. We want to welcome thank Lenny WIlliams for being our guest. I mean, this episode exceeded all my expectations.
I think so. I think we did very well.
Yes,
a lot of fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
So I want to thank everyone for participating, and I thank Lenny WIlliams. He was absolutely just a wealth of knowledge and just very easy to talk to. He was just great. Love him.
Absolutely.
A class act.
Absolutely. So until next time, hey, I'm Marcus, along with Kim and Byron. This has been that good, and we out.
We out.
We out.